So what if I told you reaching the 10% body fat isn't as hard as you think? Most guys think that getting to 10% body fat means starving yourself, but I'm here to tell you that's entirely not the case. But what if I told you there's a smarter way, one that gets you shredded and still be strong and still hold on to your muscle mass? Sounds too good to be true, right? Well, in this video, I'm gonna break down 3 easy steps that has worked for me in the past, so that way you can still get shredded without feeling like crap. So let's be honest, getting from 20% to 15% is probably not as hard as you think, but getting to 10%, that's on a whole nother level, guys. I know when I was at 15% body fat and I knew I wanted to get to 10%, I knew it was gonna take some work. And I knew it was gonna take some planning, that I had to put some thought into it. And let me be the first one to tell you, once you reach the 10% or you wanting to reach the 10% because you clicked on this video, it's no easy thing and it is a lot of hard work. I don't want nobody telling you that it's easy. If somebody is telling you that, they are lying to you. If you don't come up with a smart plan, you are definitely gonna tank out and you're gonna lose a lot of muscle in the process, and that's not what I want for you. So the first step that we have to focus on, guys, is focusing on your nutrition. Focusing on your nutrition is gonna be a vital part towards this game plan, and eating the right kinds of food is going to play a part, especially in the amount of calories that you have to consume. So this isn't about guessing your calories, eyeballing stuff. We're really serious about our goals. So the first thing I'm gonna need you guys to do is to buy a scale. You can get one at your local Walmart. It's only like $12 or $14. I know you're gonna tell me, David, oh, I don't have that much money, but listen, man, if you can afford groceries, you can definitely afford a scale. Especially if you're watching this, like, you have internet, you're paying for internet, you're watching me, you can afford a scale, bro. Anyways, I want you to get a scale so that way you can measure out everything. The way you track your calories, guys, is you look at the back of the nutrition label or whatever food item you're about to measure. In the back of the nutrition label, guys, it should tell you your calories as well as your servings and all the macros that you're looking for. You should be able to see your fats, your sodium levels, your carbohydrates, and your protein, and the amount of serving that's in there. When you are measuring out stuff, you want to do it precisely by the amount of serving and calories that is equal to it. That way you can add up everything you need to add up and make sure you are eating the right amount of calories and you're not second guessing anything. We're not trying to guess our calories, we're trying to be very precise as much as possible. Obviously, food companies can be off by like 20%, which is why most of the time I recommend you get about 1 gram of protein and not just 0.8. 0.8 is the standard, but 1 gram to be very safe. When you're choosing the foods that you're gonna eat, guys, make sure they're going towards your macros and the goals you're going for. Typically, what I recommend when you're trying to calculate your macros, get about 30% from your fats, and then your carbs can fall into place, and then your protein, as long as you're getting about 0.8 to 1 gram of protein, it can also fall into place. Obviously, your macro goals might change in the process, but for now, let's try to aim about 1 gram of protein. It's okay if you only get about 0.8 or 0.5. Right now, we're just starting our baseline, and from there, we can adjust week by week in whatever we have to fix. So once you figured out how to calculate your calories from the nutrition labels, and you figured out the foods that you're gonna eat, I want you guys to calculate your BMR, also known as the basal metabolic rate. Your BMR, guys, is the number of calories you burn at just rest. So whenever you're not doing anything, such as for me, when I'm sitting down right here, my BMR from calculating it is 1600 calories. That's all I need to maintain my body weight and maintain my physique. You might be different, but when you're calculating your BMR, guys, this is gonna be the starting point at what your maintenance is going to be. All right, guys, so the way you wanna calculate your BMR is you wanna take the number 10, you wanna multiply it by your weight, then you wanna add 6.25, but you're gonna take 6.25 and multiply it by how tall you are. Another part of the equation, you want to subtract that by 5 and you're going to multiply 5 by your age. Once you do that, the final thing that you're going to do is add 5, and this is typically for males. I'm speaking to you males. This is the equation for a male. If you're a female, there's a slight difference in the equation, but I promise you it's very similar to what it is. Once you got your BMR total, you want to multiply this number by the activity level. When it comes to the activity level, this is based off what you're doing besides just lifting or exercising. You can look this up online. They have like a whole chart on it. It's a small chart and you should be able to pick a range at what fits for your lifestyle. Once you got that number, it's gonna give us the total daily energy expenditure, which is pretty much how much you're actually burning with your activity level and lifestyle, along with the maintenance calories that you have. That is your true total calories for the day. And from there, we can decide how much we should actually be eating. Once you've done all of this, guys, it's time to figure out the deficit we want. Typically, what I recommend, since you're gonna do a cut because you're trying to get to 10%, the best way I found out is to do it very slow and extend the process. Sure, you could do an aggressive cut, but I promise you, the con to this is you're gonna be losing muscle, and that's typically what we're trying to avoid. So to give our body some buffer time, we're gonna give ourselves a 12-week program where each week or every 2 weeks, we're taking out at least 200 calories from our total calorie daily goal. That way we can be in a deficit, and that way we can ensure our body is burning fat and not burning through our muscle. Along with your deficit, guys, you're definitely gonna still be doing cardio. So doing cardio, doing exercises, and eating less is gonna put us in an overall deficit. This is why I didn't tell you guys to take off 500 calories. Sure, you can do that. You can be more aggressive towards the beginning, but as you keep getting closer towards that 12-week mark, I suggest you start cutting back on the calories you are cutting, because you don't wanna be too aggressive, and we wanna ensure that we're still supplying our body with enough energy and enough calories and protein to be able to still grow in the process. Part of the process with your nutrition, guys, as well, like I keep saying, you wanna keep your protein high. 0.8 to 1 gram of protein is non-negotiable, especially if you don't want to lose muscle. This is why you got to keep your fats at a certain level, and you got to keep your carbs just falling into place. I'd rather lose some of the carbs from my calories instead of protein, especially if I want to keep on as much muscle as I can. You are going to lose muscle in the process. We're just trying to avoid as much as possible. Some of the best proteins you can do, you can have ground beef, you can have chicken, you can have fish, salmon works. These foods are typically high in protein per serving, and you can't go wrong with these, especially chicken breasts. Definitely get chicken breasts. Although every now and then you can switch to chicken thighs. I know I like chicken thighs, but they tend to hold a lot of fat and they're very fatty. And so since I'm trying to keep my fats not too high, I tend to lean more towards chicken breasts. Every now and then I'll have chicken thighs, guys. So don't get it twisted. Like, you can have some of these things, but preferably you want to stick to chicken breasts and leaner meats. Also, guys, make sure you're eating eggs. It's a good source of protein and it has a lot of nutrition. Also, complete myth that eggs is gonna raise your cholesterol in the wrong way. There's two types of cholesterol, guys. Eggs normally raise the good cholesterol, which is gonna keep your arteries very good and make sure you have good blood flow. So don't worry about consuming a lot of eggs. I eat about 4 eggs a day now, so there's nothing wrong with that. But if you're still having trouble with eating all these whole foods, or you just simply don't want to be spending a lot of money on just buying meats, you can also gravitate towards getting a supplement, a protein supplement to be exact. You can get protein powder, mix it with water, and just drink it. Very convenient, gets you out the door, and you don't have to worry about it. I still want you guys to master the fundamentals and making sure you know how to track your calories and you're getting most of your protein from whole foods. A supplement is just a supplement. It just supplements where you are lacking. So if you're tight on your hours because you're always working, or you just simply can't afford more meat, or you just don't want to cook it as much because it's taking up too much of your time, then that's where a protein powder comes into place. In order to stay full during your cut, guys, as you're getting to 10% body fat, I found that eating, certain vegetables, eating a little bit higher fiber from like fruits tend to help you stay full. Caffeine also helps too. It suppresses your appetite. So stuff like pre-workout, coffee, maybe energy drinks, just be careful with it, guys. Don't overconsume too much caffeine, but caffeine could definitely be a good supplement to help you suppress your appetite a little bit. So make sure you're eating fruits. Bananas are good. They're only about 100 calories for a medium banana. Blueberries are very low calorie as well. Watermelons are low calories as well. And then other stuff like cucumbers are very low calorie, which can help you stay full. So every now and then, you can make the argument that you are gonna need a refeed day. And I notice when I add refeed days, maybe once every 2 weeks or once per month, I notice, I tend to give my body a little bit more energy so I can go hard in the gym. Strategically, when you're doing a refeed day, guys, we want to make sure we're adding more of what we're already eating. Yes, you can have a cheat meal once per weekend. There's nothing wrong with that. Enjoy it. Go on the date, bro. You can have it. Just avoid eating, processed sugar and things high in sugar like ice cream. If you're gonna have it, keep it to a minimum. I'd rather you eat like a burger or something with fries. But still though, try to avoid sugar as much as you can, because we're trying to make burning fat as easy and convenient as possible, not harder and work against us. All right, guys, step number 2, we want to make sure that we're still keeping up with our strength. So what this means is we're trying to hit the same numbers as much as possible. Obviously, as you get deeper into your cut and you're getting to 10%, or pretty close to it, your body's gonna be a little bit weaker and your number's gonna have to go down. That's completely fine, pretty normal in the process. But we still wanna be able to challenge yourself as much as you can. That doesn't mean, lower the intensity. That still means get a good workout from it and make sure we're doing everything right. Obviously, guys, listen to your body so you don't get injured, because there is a thing as going too hard and not listening to your body. And when you're trying to be aggressive with the weights and you're doing something wrong, you might tweak something in the wrong way. So to ensure for this not to happen, make sure you have proper form, make sure you're getting enough rest in between sets, and make sure you're getting enough rest outside the gym. We don't want to neglect no compound lifts. So if you're benching, guys, still keep up with it. If you're squatting, still keep up with it. If you're deadlifting, still keep up with it as well. You just gotta lower your numbers down a little bit, because with these exercises, there's a lot more risk now that you're actually cutting down. And so just make sure you're working on your technique and you're not ego lifting and you're listening to your body throughout the lifts. This means if you're gonna go hard, don't go heavy every week. Let your central nervous system catch up, which takes about 2 weeks for it to recover. Takes a little bit longer than your regular muscles to recover. That doesn't mean you still can't work on the technique. I found that there's ways to, challenge myself with deadlifts, even at a lighter weight. Doing pauses, doing deficits. I show all of these on my TikTok and I talk about it, guys, on how to do it. So guys, if you want me to make a video on how to properly deadlift, or, speaking more on the compound lifts, I'll be more than welcome to show you guys and talk about it, which is going to require a whole entire video explaining compound lifts and how to improve your technique with it. Let me know down in the comments and I'll gladly do that for you guys. But back to the compound lifts, guys. When you're doing compound lifts, it means you're working more than one muscle group. So whenever you're hitting chest, you're also working your shoulders and you're working your triceps. When you're doing a row movement or some type of back exercise, you're also working your biceps, your forearm, and any other muscle groups that involves this part right over here. All right. You're also as well working your rear delts too, which not a lot of people talk about, which is why you can also make the argument, if you're trying to save on time and not stay too long in the gym and you only want to work out for 5 days, then you don't have to hit your rear delts as much, unless you specifically are trying to grow that part and you're lacking on that part. But majority of the time with most of your row movements, especially your upper back movement, you are hitting that rear delt, that back part of the shoulder, you are hitting it pretty good. So it gets contracted from a regular back exercise and when you're hitting rear delts in the isolation movement. Even while you're still cutting, guys, still maintain your good habits and still track your lifts as well. Because if you are going down in your lifts, we want to make sure we know exactly where we are in our numbers and actually see that, like, hey, we're still keeping up with the numbers. Sure, some of them might go down, but that's completely fine. As long as you're tracking it, you can be fully aware of what's going on and you're not trying to attempt a weight that you should not be doing. This avoids injuries, this makes sure you keep your intensity, and we're still staying strong while we're in a cut. Just because we're in a fat loss state doesn't mean we have to lose muscles as well. So make sure you're training hard, train to failure, and still keep up with your training. There's also a time, guys, that we still keep up with progressive overload and we're not switching our programs in terms of working out. We want to keep doing exactly the same thing that we were doing before our cut, because we need to ensure that we are still getting stronger even while we're doing our cut, and we're still maintaining our strength even while we're in this process, in this state, in this journey. So some key things that we need to focus on to make this cut easier is obviously do cardio. We need to focus on non-exercise activities like walking outside, getting some sun, doing stuff around the house, going on errands, parking your car way farther so you have to walk a bit longer going to the store. Not only is this gonna make your cut super easy, this is gonna ensure we're hitting about 5,000 to 10,000 steps a day, and as well increase our deficit without having to eat less. Because trust me guys, if you take out cardio but then take out more food, you're not gonna have a great time. Yes, it's possible, but I'm telling you, you're gonna prefer to eat. So we want to do a little bit of both. We want to be in a deficit from taking out some food from our calories, and we also want to implement cardio and exercise. Not only that guys, doing so much cardio is literally going to affect your cortisol, which is what we don't want because it's going to affect our testosterone, and as well it's going to affect your recovery, which is what we don't want. We're gonna have trouble sleeping. We're not gonna feel fully recovered for the next day to even hit a workout or the next time to hit that same muscle. That's exactly what we don't want, because then we're gonna have to lower down our lifts and our lifts will just be completely trash. So take my advice, really listen to it and really do everything I'm telling you to do and track it, because if not, you are doomed to fail, bro. And step number 3 guys, we want to make sure our recovery is very good. It's no secret that you could be eating the right stuff, work out super hard, but if your recovery is completely crap, then you're not gonna feel elite and you're not gonna get to 10% body fat as fast as you want. When your recovery sucks guys, it spikes up your cortisol level and it's gonna make it a lot harder for your body to burn fat. If anything, it's gonna be burning your muscles away, and that's not what we want. So we want to make sure we're getting a good amount of sleep. I know I keep emphasizing this guys, but it's because these are the fundamentals you have to master. You can't get stronger and you can't lose body fat real quick if you're not ensuring that you're getting enough sleep. So make sure you're getting anywhere from 7 to 9 hours of sleep guys. Good sleep is going to make sure you have good hormones, you feel stronger, you fully recover, better muscle growth, and better fat loss. Not only is the recovery gonna be really good, but with good recovery comes less hunger. You won't mess up your calorie goal because you're not gonna be getting so much cravings. When your cortisol level is spiked guys, your body's gonna release a hormone in which is gonna make you hungry and it's gonna make you wanna eat when it's not time to eat. And it's gonna make you crave stuff that you shouldn't be eating. So instead of making your life harder and using up your willpower just to fight off your own hunger levels, make sure you're getting enough sleep, make sure you're recovering, make sure you're stretching, make sure you're doing all the right things that you're supposed to do. When you have good sleep guys and you have good recovery, you're able to manage your stress so much better. So don't be afraid to go do stuff that's gonna help manage your stress. Go ahead and do it. If that requires you, meditating, praying, go ahead and do that. It'll help you manage your stress so much better. All right guys, so let's have a quick recap on what we just talked about. So step 1 guys, we need to make sure that we calculate our BMR, making sure we're in a deficit with our calories, anywhere from 200 to 500, and then making sure we have at least 1 gram of protein per body weight. Step number 2 guys, we need to train with intensity, make sure we're doing progressive overload, and we're still keeping up with our strength and tracking all of our numbers. And step number 3 guys, we need to make sure we're getting enough sleep, managing our stress, and recovery like a pro. Listen guys, getting to 10% body fat doesn't have to be super complicated, but it is gonna take a lot of hard work and dedication towards the goal. So guys, if you found this video helpful and you're ready to move on and take your journey much more serious, then I want you to click on this video over here where I talk about why simplicity will build the best physique ever. I go more in depth on why you gotta make things more simple and how you can reach your goals way faster. I'll see you guys in the next video.